Peter Samuels and Vincent Dubois. And there's been good progress made already from the back of the grid by Clive Hansford in the Mazda RX8, so he's going to be working his way through as best as he possibly can. But as we said in qualifying, this is a great array of different cars, and great things are going to come from those who didn't qualify that well in slightly tricky conditions this morning. But Peter Smith and Peter Chalice already having a great fight out front, and the Ginetta, the G50, they're just for good measure to put a little bit of pressure on the top two at the minute. Dive into paddock for the second time. Close contact there between the two MGs in towards Paddock Hill Bend, and it's just going to be Rob Spencer who squeezed his way through. Peter Samuels got a little bit wiggly in towards the first corner, and with all of that, Vincent Dubois is going to try and take a place away at the same time. But Peter Samuels is going to try and defend as much as he can. He has the outside for Druidi, and then try and get back to the inside down towards the next corner, which is the Volta de Graham Hill. But he has to let, unfortunately, Vincent Dubois go, and he'll have to try and get that back later on within the race. But good start. Peter Smith leads the way. Peter Chalice there in second.
Yeah, decent battle between the Italian and rest of the world machines, and that's just that. Italian Ferrari versus the German Porsche. The British Ginetta in hot pursuit. It's three sports cars at the head of the field. They go out of Curva Clark, down Rettifilo, Brabham, and the Ginetta is closing the iconic Golf livery of Phil Knibb in third position. If the top two continue to squabble, the Ginetta could be closing. We've got the 1970s MGB behind, fresh from its victories yesterday. Rob Spencer went very well indeed yesterday, as Matt was describing earlier, and scored 2 wins in the MG Car Club V8 Championship. Went very well indeed on the Indy circuit then. He's got the Spire for company behind, but the top three are closing again because Knibb is starting to pressurise Chalice for second position now.
Yeah, it certainly is. Phil Knibb right there at the minute with the top two. Just a little bit of a break being made there by Peter Smith from the outside of row number one, but Peter Chalice will try and keep it as honest as possible as they come through the Radura and on towards Curva Clark for the third time of asking. And let's see if Phil Knibb can think about anything to do at Paddock Hill Bend. He'll just sit there for the time being, but as much pressure as he possibly can onto the second place man as they now dive in towards the first corner once more. But there's also a good battle going on just behind them in what's going to be fourth place, because Vincent Dubois in his Spire is just about catching up with Rob Spencer. In the lap times it was in fact Vincent Dubois who was slightly slower than Rob Spencer, so the gap opens up just slightly between those two. But some really good battles going on between all the different cars we see in this all-comers race. But Vincent Dubois at the minute is trying his best. He closes on the brakes and towards the left-hander at Volta de Graham Hill, but then in terms of power, it's just Rob Spencer who has a little bit in hand on the way down towards Randy John, sorry.
Yeah, slight twitch as they went through into Parabolico and McLaren through Roger for the Spires closing right up as they came through clearways that time, then into Curva Clark and down Rettifilo Brabham, and this could be the chance for the Spire, but Spencer's going to try and keep his footing down the straight, and the power of that V8 draws him alongside. He's running in the rest of the world class in the MG, but the Martini livery looks like it really wants to be in the Italian class of this to Spencer. He's going well to keep the Spire at bay and make their way up Kalina de Hailwood into Druidi, and the white MG sits on the inside of that little sports car swarming around the rear bumper, and it's probably difficult to see it in this mirror. It's so small and compact, that little Spire, and Spencer doing well to keep him at bay.
Yeah, very low to the ground there as the Spire gets a good run then through as Volta de Graham Hill. Can he pull alongside and get the move done? Not quite, because again in the straight line it's just the BCV8 MG that has the slight legs over the Spire, so Rob Spencer keeps for now the position of fourth. But Vincent Dubois really pushing on now. He gets a good run through here as we saw last time, so through Curva Clark, but then back into the power unit. The MG BCV8 comes on to the start finish line and powers away by just a couple of tenths of a second there. So this is going to be a race-long battle, I'm sure, between the corners and the straights. And through the corners again, Vincent Dubois closes the gap on the run through paddock up towards to Druidi. And this time he's going to try and go for the outside line, which doesn't quite work, or will it? He's going to have to be careful out there because it is still a little bit damp. But Vincent Dubois this time gets the perfect run down towards Volta de Graham Hill, and I think the place and the position is done. So up into what's going to be fourth place. And he tried, but it's not going to last, is it? Because again, Rob Spencer in a straight line has the power and goes back through. But this is tremendous racing from these two.
Yeah, you never know what you're going to get in these all-cover races. You know who's going to swap with who, and in this one it's all about Dubois and Spencer having a great argument over what is fourth and 5th position, and it just looks like the MG's lost out, and then suddenly the Spire doesn't have the momentum down the straights. The MG's got the advantage. He tries to get the power down through curve, and Clark kicks the car sideways, one of the fastest points on the circuit, and Spencer's getting more of a workout here than he did in the championship races yesterday.
Certainly is, and he's having to defend once again through Paddock Hill Bend as they head up towards Druidi. Again, Vincent Dubois on this occasion, in fact, goes to the inside rather than the outside, and as Rob Spencer just let him go now, I think he probably has, because he's getting a little bit blinded in the mirrors there. So Rob Spencer thinks, oh, maybe I'll follow you for a little bit and see how you take the corners, and with that, Vincent Dubois on his way, to be fair, so he's not hanging around for anyone. He's Vincent as they work their way then on towards a back marker. They're going to have to try and squeeze their way through here as they head through Parabolica de McLaren, which they nicely do. The back marker stays out the way, so that's job done for them in 4th and 5th places. Just looking a little bit further back now, 6th and 7th isn't too far apart. That's Peter Samuels in the number 84 machine, and he's being hassled now by the car that started at the back. That's number 52, which is Clive Hansford. So another battle starting to emerge as they come through now to complete lap number 7 of the race. Already on to lap number 8, have gone our top 3.
Yeah, the top 3 is a very even gap between them, really. The Ferrari from the Porsche from the Ginetta is a great line of sports cars, but they aren't getting close. They are circulated like this for a few laps now, and it doesn't look like Chalice is able to get closer to Smith or Nib's able to get closer to Chalice. They've been pretty even between the 3 of them. Haven't had any traffic for a little while, so this is going to be interesting when they start to get up and catch up with the slower cars. They've got the Alfa Romeo weight number 24 a long way up the road through Druidi as it stands, but when they do start to hit traffic later on in this race, there's only 7 or so minutes left to go though, so traffic might not be too much of an issue as we have seen in the other encounters, but the 3 of them, something needs to happen between the 3 of these. A mistake from the Ferrari will let the Porsche in and vice versa.
Yeah, this gap has just ebbed and flown, hasn't it, since the start of the race, where the Ferrari just seemed to have the legs over the Porsche, but now the Porsche's built up his temperatures in the tyres. It seems to be closing the gap down once again, and with it he's trying to take Phil Nib, but this is a much better run from Peter Chalice. The gap comes down and down as they head up through McLaren into Herradura, and then on towards the final corner at Curve at Clark. The gap last time through was just literally under a second, but I think on this occasion Peter Chalice has had a better run as they come up to complete that next lap. Peter Smith in car number 5 still leads. Second, number 11 is Peter Chalice, and third, number 90 is Phil Nib. And yet on that occasion Chalice did close the gap down to 3/4 of a second, but watch out for Phil Nib, now the quickest man on circuit. He's just done the quickest lap with a 51.067, so even the man at the back is another one to watch out for.
Yeah, they're soon going to be catching up with the Alfa Romeo then of weight number 24, so top weight in the green Alfa Romeo car bought at auction, and now a race machine, so the Alfa Romeo is going to be pounced on, I think, through Variante de Grande John. Yes, the Ferrari Smith is through, Chalice is through, and as quick as that, Nib darts past as well in the Ginetta and the Alfa Romeo. Suddenly it's passed by the 3 sports cars, and through goes the Ferrari. Quick as that, followed by the Porsche and the Ginetta, and traffic there didn't have much of an impact. If anything, it's let Chalice get a bit closer to the Ferrari. The gap was 7/10 last time, it's now just half a second, so suddenly Chalice is starting to close the gap a bit. As another second back is Nib in the Ginetta, the iconic Gulf colours, but it's Chalice starting to pressurise Smith with 6 minutes left to run.
Yeah, it's about 2/10 of a second a lap that Peter Chalice is currently taken out of the race leader, so let's see if he can continue that form on this lap as they come down through the Volta de Grand Hill. Phil Nib, as we said, the quickest man on the previous lap, the one that we just finished, so he's just kind of waiting to see what happens as they come onto the back of another Alfa. That's going to be the Carsten Muller one. They're going to have to try and work their way through, but very well done there from Carsten. He steps to one side, he lets all 3 of the sports cars through once again, and they head down through onto that next lap. And I think the gap is probably going to be about 0.3 of a second here, so is it going to be another 2/10 taken by Peter Chalice? Across the line they go, exactly 2/10, so well done to Peter, but has he got anything in that tank to try and work his way through as they now head on to lap number 12, up through Paddock and in towards Druidi they go. It's just ebbing closer now between the top 2 and Phil Nib. As we said, don't count him out, he's just going to be sitting, watching and waiting to see what unfolds ahead of him, but Peter Chalice surely is going to be the first man to make a move.
Yeah, catching one thing, overtaking another here, because he's really closing up onto the rear wing of the Ferrari and trying to dart alongside, show his nose up the inside into Variante de Grande John, then through Parabolica de McLaren and up into the Radura for yet another time, and the green and white Porsche, a different line through the Radura that time as they go through Curve at Clark, and the Ginetta just keeping that watching brief, and any contact between the top two, and Nib will be there taking the place away, I'm sure. But with only 4 minutes left to go, an intriguing battle, this one.
Certainly as they head down towards Paddock Hill Bend. The other battle to watch out for, as we said, was Peter Samuels and Clive Hansford. They are pretty much now nose to tail as they work their way down in towards the Volta de Graham Hill, and that is all over 6th place. So 6th and 7th, the MG up against the Mazda.
Chalice has never been so close. Coming out to Druidi, he was right, almost drawing alongside the Ferrari. There's a bit of a wobble for Smith in the Ferrari as he came out to Volta de Graham Hill, and Chalice is really trying to warm up the back bumper now of the Ferrari. Volta de Graham Hill completed. They're through Parabolico to the McLaren into the Radua, and now they're starting to trip over each other a bit. The Ginetta's getting ever closer. 3 minutes left to go, but this race could run for at least another 10 after that, because it's such an intriguing battle, this one. They've got 3 minutes left to sort themselves out and work out which step of the podium they're going to stand on. At the moment, it will be Smith from Chalice from Nib, but will it stay that way? They're closer than ever through Druidi last time around, and now it looks like the Ferrari has just got clear again by a car length, but that's all.
Yeah, pressure is starting to be felt now by Peter Smith in the lead of the race. As you said, he had that slight wobble down at Graham Hill Bend a lap ago, so Peter Chalice is still making him work as hard as he possibly needs to try and get this place taken away, but with it he's now got to look in his mirrors, because Phil Nib is right with them once again. So it's Ferrari that leads Porsche, that leads Ginetta on the run now in towards the Grande John, and let's see if Peter Chalice onto the start finish line can work his way through. And up the road, Clive Hansford has just about got through on Peter Samuels. They run side by side. The MG though again has the power in a straight line, so holds on to his position as the leaders come through to complete what's going to be now lap 14 in this race. It's just under 3 minutes to go, so effectively it's just going to be 4 laps, I'd say, in this race with the time we have left. But again, nothing to choose between Peter Smith, Peter Chalice and Phil Nib.
No, there's not long left. There's only 2.5 minutes or so to go. The Hansford and the MG battle with Samuels is really still continuing as they make their way through Volta Graham Hill, and this could be an issue because the two of them are squabbling, and as the leading trio come through, are they going to start to trip over each other as Hansford goes slightly wide through Radiante de Grande John? The top three still, or the top two at least, locked together. There's a slight gap back to the Ginetta, just a little bit of daylight, but that daylight suddenly disappeared because the three of them are tied together now through Curva Clark, down Ratifido Brabham. They're going to catch up with the Mazda RX8 of Hansford soon as they start with just 2 minutes left to go. They're on to lap 16 now. Yeah,
Marshall's on their toes because they're going to be waving those blue flags for these slower cars, which is just held up to Peter Smith going through Paddock, and he goes the wrong way. So round the outside goes Peter Chalice to take the lead of the race. Peter Smith tries to fight back as he goes now to the outside of Druidi. Phil Nib is right there as well to try and take the accolade for either second or first, but he stays there in third place, and that was a little bit unlucky, unfortunately. As Ferrari fights back down towards Graham Hill Bend, he gets a little bit sideways, but Peter Smith was not going to be settling for second place whatsoever, and straight away, he didn't even let that one settle, did he? He went straight back for the lead of the race, and with it, Peter Chalice, I think, just got slightly caught out there as he got a big Ferrari right in his right-hand door, or left-hand door, whichever way it was. But with that, Peter Smith, after all of that, has now got back to the lead, but there's two cars ahead of them which are fighting for their own positions, and again, they're going to have to try and squeeze their way through, which they do. It gets very tight across the start-finish line, but Peter Smith and Peter Chalice somehow just about squeezed through. Yeah, Ferrari and Porsche just slipped through the gap, but this is an excellent tussle. We've only got a minute left to go, and Smith just didn't want to give that lead away. Pounced back past Chalice with the first opportunity into Volta de Graham Hill, and now the Ginetta of Nib is stuck behind the Mazda RX8 of Hansford as they come out of Druidi. That's given a bit of a break to the top two. Now Chalice isn't going to have to look in his mirrors over these remaining few seconds. Isn't that going to help his charge and try and catch the Ferrari down? He hasn't got to worry too much about the Ginetta because Nib has fallen away just a little bit, getting through the traffic, but it looks like Smith's got enough of an advantage. They're going to be starting their final lap this time around, and Smith, Chalice, Nib still the top three, but it could have been anyone's race, this one. Certainly could as they go through this time. We've got about 10 seconds on the clock, so last lap now is shown to the lead as they head now in towards the first corner once more. I think, as you said, Phil Nib was the one who was the unluckiest there. He just lost a lot of ground with traffic and everything that was going on. So Phil Nib drops to third and quite a way back now from the top two. But can Peter Chalice try one more trick in his little book here? Not too sure he can. Let's see how Peter Smith goes as he runs now down towards these Volta de Graham Hill. Gap closes once more, so it could be a dash to the line as they come through on towards the Rettifilio Cooper for the last time. We've got Rob Cooper just up the road as well. They're going to have to be wary of him. They may just catch him on the start-finish line, but Peter Smith and Peter Chalice are going to go for it once again. Chalice looks to the inside line through the final corner, but I think it's going to be job done in this first race for the Ferrari.
Yeah, excellent job by Smith to hold on. It looked like he ran slightly wide through Giuidi, but the first race of the day for the Ferrari, Smith's going to go. The first all-comers race goes his way. Excellent drive from Smith to hold off Chalice and Nim at the line. And the first Italian Arno versus rest of the world all-comers goes the way of Italy. It's the Ferrari of Smith which wins it. Excellent drive from Peter Smith to keep Chalice and Nim at bay. Vincent Dubois in the Spire will take fourth position, a lonely fourth. The top three were tripping over each other throughout. Dubois had a good battle with Spencer early on, but once he was clear of the 1970s MG, he never looked back. Fourth place will go the way of Dubois. Fifth for 901 Spencer. There's a good tussle further behind them, sixth and seventh, with Clive Hansford and Samuels arguing over what was sixth and seventh position. Muller and Waite round out the final finishes in eighth and ninth. We did lose a couple which competed in qualifying. Kate Tripp didn't make it out sadly for the race, and we missed a couple of starts. We did have 11 running in qualifying, but it didn't matter. What a great battle that was between Peter Smith, Peter Chalice and Philip Nib. We'll look forward to more of that later this afternoon. The Italiano versus the rest of the world all-comers.